Like and subscribe if you agree with this message. This is Labor Day, and I really wish I would have made this post earlier because this is really somewhat of a sad day for me. And the reason is watching Biden and other political figures talk about Labor Day and how it built the middle class, and it did build the middle class. But understand this: politicians owned by the plutocrats were against everything that unions gave to the people. Ronald Reagan attacked unions as being bad, and people followed him and voted for him, and they showed no respect for unions that created the middle class. And it just goes to show you how easy it is to brainwash people. And I want to give a special shout out to Walter Reuther. And I am going to leave a link so that you will recognize this man and give this man the credit he deserves. Walter Reuther was the Martin Luther King of unions. He was the Martin Luther King of unions and establishing unions. And he risked his life, and the same beatings that Martin Luther King took, he took as well. He was also put in jail. Understand this: unions fought so that children could go to school and not work. Unions fought to give us the 40-hour work week, vacation days, sick days, overtime, 5-day work week. None of this was given to us by politicians, just like politicians did not give black people civil rights or the voting rights. We fought for those things. We fought for those things. And we also fought for union representation as a collective, white and black. Walter Reuther, remember his name. And I want to bring up Ronald Reagan, the Republican, that so many Caucasians swear by. Understand this: this man was a union buster. He was a Republican union buster. Also, these so-called politicians that are pretending to celebrate Labor Day, ask them, why hasn't the minimum wage been raised? Ask them, why has the minimum wage not been raised? The cost of products have gone up. The rich have gotten richer because of Ronald Reagan. And he cut their taxes from 70 something percent down to 32%. And Trump and all the Republicans that follow him have cut their taxes more as their capital investments increased. Most people, when most people don't even understand that when the United States says we're the richest country in the world, they are not talking about the poor, and they are not talking about the middle class. They are talking about the plutocrats. They are talking about people with over $75 billion, over $20 billion. They are not talking about me and you. They keep our wages low so that they can make more money. They raise our taxes and cut their taxes, and then they say they don't know why it is a deficit. Think, people, think. I think that Caucasians are afraid to stand up for what is right. They are afraid to stand up for what is right because they think that they are getting something out of the deal. Less than 10 per, less than 10% of Americans make $100,000 a year, while you have corporate heads of businesses, CEOs, making millions and millions of dollars a year. So you think that $100,000 a year is a big deal? Well, if you can lose it all if someone in your house gets sick. You could lose it all. And the cost of living is so high now, that $100,000 a year is lower middle class, depending on what state you live in. And I'm bringing this up. I'm going into a different area because Caucasians, you feel that holding black people wages down is increasing your wages. It's not. It's not. We're in the same economic boat. We are in the same economic boat. And in fact, black people, we have an advantage over you because we dominate in sports, in music, and in entertainment. So we can bust past that $100,000. But you can't because you working a job. You're working a job. But see, if we were all as one and did not fall prey to hate, because see, that's what they do on TV. They teach you to hate black people. They're the problem. Hate immigrants, they're the problem. Hate union, they're the problem. Hate everybody but the plutocrats who are getting rich. Hate everybody but the billionaires. Then they tell you, you can be a billionaire too. No, you can't. Come up with an invention that will make billions of dollars and you try to get a patent on it, you will disappear tomorrow. We have a crooked government of greed. And you need to understand that. We have a crooked government of greed. War is based on greed. The Bible tells you, Yahshua, who you want to call Jesus, tells you that a rich man has as much chance of getting into heaven as a camel has of passing through the eye of a needle. It was true then, it is true now. But all the rich have to do is put a carrot in front of you and make it $100,000 a year and you chasing it. And while you chasing that $100,000 carrot, guys making billions and underpaying you. And you don't have civil rights like you think you have civil rights. The law for the rich is not the same law for us. Understand. If you work for if the CEOs and the capitalists who owns these countries, who own these companies, are making millions and millions a year and some billions a year, and you're doing the work, you are being underpaid. Lincoln said it clearly when Lincoln said labor will always be more important than capital because labor does the work. That's why when you go on a strike, they are forced to deal with you. But see, the reality of the situation is they put you in a situation where you can't afford to go on a strike. They put you in a situation where you can't afford to go on strike. So you have to bow down to their will. And that's the reality of the situation. Rich people do not like Labor Day. Politicians do not like Labor Day. If they did, they would mention Walter Reuther's name. And I'm going to leave you a link to educate you so that you know who he is and what he has done for you, and understand what Reagan has not done for you. Wake up, people. Wake up. With that, like and subscribe. Catch you later.